Your phone is doing something right now that you did not agree to. Not in any meaningful sense. Not in the way you would agree if someone explained it clearly and asked your permission in plain language. Buried inside both iPhones and Android phones is a hidden identifier, a 32-character alphanumeric string that functions as a permanent name tag attached to every app you open, every link you click, every product you browse, every map you search, and every piece of content you interact with across your entire digital life on that device. It is called an advertising ID, IDFA on iPhones, GAID on Android, and it exists for one purpose: to allow advertisers, data brokers, and the companies they pay to compile a profile of exactly who you are, what you want, what you fear, what you're attracted to, and how to make you click. The good news is that you can turn it off right now in under 2 minutes. And this video is going to show you exactly how. But we are also going to go deeper than the simple settings fix, because the advertising ID is only the most obvious layer of a tracking architecture that has multiple levels, some of which persist even after you disable the identifier. Understanding all of them is the only way to actually take back control. Let us start with exactly what this thing is, because understanding the mechanism makes the solution make sense. The advertising ID is a 128-bit number, presented as a string of characters that looks something like this: A1B2C3D4 E5F67890 ABCD EF12234577890. When an app developer wants to understand how their users behave, they access this identifier through the operating system's standard API. Every app that requests it receives the same number for the same device. This is the key point: same number. Every app, every session. Now imagine what that allows. App A knows you browsed running shoes at 7 p.m. App B knows you searched for a half marathon training plan at 8 p.m. App C knows you visited a sports nutrition website at 9 p.m. Individually, these are just usage statistics. But when an advertising network combines all three, using the advertising ID as the thread linking them together, they have built a profile: athletic interest, evening exercise habits, performance focus. And they can now serve you targeted advertising on every subsequent app that also participates in the same network, which is most of them. This is not hypothetical. This is the documented mechanism through which the multi-hundred-billion-dollar programmatic advertising industry operates. Your advertising ID is the commodity. Your behavioral data linked to that ID is the product. You are not using a free app. You are the inventory being sold to the brands advertising inside it. Here is the step-by-step to disable this on your specific device. If you have an iPhone running iOS 14 or later, go to Settings. Scroll down to Privacy and Security. Tap Tracking. Make sure Allow Apps to Request to Track is turned off. When this is disabled, all apps are automatically denied permission to access your IDFA without needing to ask you individually. Then go back to Privacy and Security. Tap Apple Advertising. Turn off personalized ads. This prevents Apple itself from using your behavior to SERV targeted ads within its own apps and services. If you have an Android phone, open Settings, go to Privacy, look for ads. The specific path varies slightly by manufacturer, but on stock Android you will find a Google advertising section. In older Android versions, there was a Reset Advertising ID option. In Android 12 and later, Google added the ability to delete the advertising ID entirely. Choose Delete, not Reset. Here is why that distinction matters. Resetting the ID gives you a new random identifier. You are still trackable. Advertisers lose the historical data linked to your old ID, which is meaningful, but a new ID immediately begins accumulating new data on the same behavioral pattern because you are the same person. Deleting the ID removes the identifier entirely. When apps request it, they receive a string of zeros. There is no ID to link your behavior across apps. The tracking mechanism itself is broken. Delete, not reset. That is the version that actually matters. Now let us talk about Apple's App Tracking Transparency feature, because this is where a lot of people believe they are already protected when they may not be fully covered. When Apple introduced App Tracking Transparency in 2021, it required apps to ask your permission before accessing your IDFA. The initial response was dramatic. Opt-in rates to tracking dropped to somewhere between 20 and 30%. Industry commentators declared the death of mobile tracking. Privacy advocates celebrated. The celebration was premature. Two things happened in the years that followed. First, opt-in rates climbed back up as app developers refined their permission request language, offering clearer value propositions, personalization benefits, and better timed prompts that caught users at moments of high engagement. By 2025 and into 2026, opt-in rates in many app categories had recovered to 40% or higher. Second, the major platforms, particularly Meta, responded to ATT by investing heavily in alternative measurement methods that do not require the IDFA at all. Conversion modeling, using machine learning to infer user behavior from aggregate signals rather than individual identifiers. On-device processing that does personal data analysis within the phone and sends only summarized results to advertisers. These approaches achieve much of the targeting capability of the original IDFA-based system without requiring the identifier itself. App tracking. Transparency was a meaningful privacy improvement. It was not the end of mobile tracking. Think of it as closing one door in a hallway that has several. Let us walk through the other doors. Device fingerprinting is the tracking method that persists even when you have disabled your advertising ID and denied every tracking permission. It works by combining publicly available technical information about your device, not your name, not your account, but the specific combination of characteristics that make your device statistically unique. Your screen resolution, your installed fonts, your battery level at a specific time, your device's time zone, the way your browser handles JavaScript, your GPU rendering signature, the version of your operating system. The specific combination of these factors creates a fingerprint that is not perfectly unique, but is unique enough to identify you with high confidence across sessions and across apps. There is no settings menu to disable fingerprinting. There is no toggle. It works from publicly available device information that apps legitimately need access to for non-tracking purposes. Mitigation involves using a browser that actively combats fingerprinting, such as Firefox with enhanced tracking protection enabled, and being thoughtful about which apps you install and what permissions they request. Location tracking has a nuance that most people do not know about. When you grant an app access to your approximate location rather than precise location, you feel like you have made a privacy-conscious choice. And you have made a better choice. But an approximate location is still location. An app that knows you are in a specific zip code knows which shops, restaurants, and services are in that area. Combined with behavioral data, approximate location is sufficient for many forms of targeted advertising. More concerning is carrier-level triangulation. Your phone's cellular connection requires constant communication with your carrier's tower network to maintain service. This communication allows your carrier to triangulate your position from the relative signal strength of multiple towers. This happens whether your location services are on or off. Your carrier knows approximately where you are as a function of providing you with phone service. Carriers sell aggregated and anonymized versions of this data. Whether that anonymization is fully effective is a question that multiple academic studies have raised serious doubts about. Now, let us address the question that comes up in almost every conversation about digital privacy. Is my phone listening to me? You mention a product in a conversation, and then 20 minutes later, it appears as an ad on your phone. It happens to virtually everyone. It feels like surveillance, and the intuitive explanation is that your microphone is secretly recording your conversations, and those recordings are being analyzed for advertising keywords. The honest answer is that this is almost certainly not what is happening. Not because the technology does not exist, it obviously does, but because the operational challenges of doing it covertly at global scale would be enormous. Continuous audio capture would drain your battery visibly and generate data volumes that would be detectable in your network traffic. The regulatory and legal exposure of confirmed audio surveillance without consent would be catastrophic for any company caught doing it. What is actually happening is more interesting and in some ways more unsettling, because it explains why the targeting feels as accurate as if someone were listening without any audio being captured. Behavioral advertising predicts interests and purchase intent from behavioral signals with accuracy that feels eerie. Your browsing history, your search patterns, the apps you use, the content you engage with longest, the time of day you do different activities, the location patterns that correlate with specific interests. These signals, combined at scale with data from millions of similar users, allow predictive models to identify when you are likely to be in market for specific products before you have consciously decided to look for them. You talked about a product with a friend, but you also searched for something related 2 weeks ago. And your behavioral profile for the past month has been moving in the direction of that product category. The ad is not a response to the conversation. It is the result of a model that predicted you were ready for it. And the conversation was a coincidence that your brain registered as causation because the timing fit the narrative. Some researchers have documented a technique called screen capturing, where apps with screen overlay permissions can analyze the content visible on your screen and infer interests from it. This is not audio, it is visual, but it can produce the same eerily accurate result. A product you saw on someone else's phone while looking at their screen shows up in your ads because an app was capturing your screen at the moment you were looking at theirs. Pre-installed apps, sometimes called bloatware, deserve specific attention because they operate differently from the apps you download yourself. When a manufacturer pre-installs an app on a device before sale, that app can sometimes be granted permissions that the standard app vetting process would otherwise restrict. This is because the manufacturer controls the system partition, the protected layer of the operating system, where pre-installed apps live. Apps in this partition can receive permissions that user-installed apps cannot request, and in some cases cannot be fully uninstalled without technical workarounds. The data collection practices of pre-installed apps vary enormously by manufacturer and by specific app. Some are entirely benign. Others have been documented collecting device usage data, location information, and behavioral signals in ways that were not clearly disclosed to consumers at point of sale. The FTC has taken enforcement action against several data broker companies for purchasing and using data sourced through these channels. The practical response is to audit your pre-installed apps. Go to your app list and identify every app you do not recognize or never use. For apps you cannot uninstall, you can often disable them, which prevents them from running. Disable anything you did not choose to install and do not actively use. European regulators have been the most aggressive in addressing these practices through legal and financial enforcement. The French Data Protection Authority, the CNIL, has fined Apple tens of millions of euros for installing advertising trackers on French users' iPhones without consent before iOS 14's privacy changes. The same authority has taken action against Google and multiple data broker companies for similar violations of GDPR's consent requirements. In the United States, the FTC has pursued enforcement actions against data brokers who sold location data that could be used to identify individuals visiting sensitive locations, including medical facilities and religious institutions. Several U.S. states have enacted or are enacting consumer privacy legislation modeled on GDPR principles. The regulatory direction is clear. The tracking practices described in this video are facing increasing legal scrutiny worldwide. That pressure has driven some of the voluntary improvements we have seen from Apple and Google in recent years, but regulatory action is slow. The most effective, immediate protection is the one you implement yourself in your settings today. Here's your checklist. Go to Settings right now. Disable Allow Apps to Request to Track on iPhone. Delete, not reset, your advertising ID on Android. Disable Personalized Ads in Apple's advertising settings. Review location services and change every app you do not genuinely need precise. Location from to approximate or off entirely. Audit your pre-installed apps and disable anything you do not use. Enable Firefox or use a privacy-focused browser with tracking protection for general browsing. And never use public Wi-Fi without a reputable VPN for anything sensitive. These steps take 15 minutes. They materially reduce the data being collected about you. Not to zero, because fingerprinting and carrier triangulation cannot be disabled with a settings change, but significantly, measurably. And for the people who are closest to you and least likely to do this themselves, the relatives who do not know this functionality even exists. Forwarding this video is a meaningful act of protection on their behalf. Your advertising ID is a hidden parasite. You now know where the off switch is. Turn it off.